हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाये नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। शङ्करं परमानन्दं ब्रह्मनिष्ठं यतीश्वरम् भाष्यभ्रान्तिहरं वन्दे शुद्धज्ञानैकबोधकम्। ओम नमः शिवाय। 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 नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। We'll begin with the Shanti mantra. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. We shall chant the mantras of the fourth Anuvaka. Yato vacho nivartante apraapya manasa saha anandam brahmano vidvan na bibheti kadachaniti tassesha eva sharira atma yapurvasya tasmad va etasmaan manomayat अन्योंतर आत्मा विज्ञानमयः तेन ईश पूर्णः सवा एष पुरुषविद एव तस्य पुरुषविदताम् अन्वयं पुरुषविदः तस्य श्रद्धैव शिरः ऋतं दक्षिणः पक्षः Satyamuttar Pakshaha Yoga Atma Mahapuchham Pratishtha Tadapesha Shloko Bhavati. Hari Om. So this Brahmananda Valli of Taittiriya Upanishad begins with the Sutra mantra Brahma Vidapnoti Param. One who knows Brahma attains the Supreme, attains Brahma, attains moksha, attains freedom from all sorrows, suffering, bondage. So one should strive to know Brahma. So what are the characteristics of Brahma? Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. And where can we recognize this Brahma? In the cave of one's own buddhi, in the space within, we can recognize Brahma as our own self. So in order to help us recognize Brahma, the Shastra uses the technique of Panchakosha Vivek to point out that Brahma as our own self. Therefore, it begins with this creation. From that Brahma, which is this Atma, the entire world came into existence. Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi, all the beings, including human beings. So this human body is a product of that Supreme Brahma alone. And this body is made up of Anna, the essence of Anna. We have a head, we have the left and the right arms, the middle portion of the body, and the feet as the support. So taking the structure of this body, the inner layers are also pointed out. So as we understand the inner layers of this body, we will finally come to comprehend the innermost tattva, that Pratyek Atma itself as Brahma. So this Annamaya kosha is made up of food, and it survives on food and finally merges back into food. Subtler than this Annamaya kosh, and within this Annamaya kosh is the Pranamaya kosh, which fills this Annamaya kosh completely. And the limbs of this Pranamaya kosh are also pointed out. Prana is the head, Vyana is the right arm, Apana is the left arm or the left wing, Akasha is the Atma, the middle portion, and Prithvi, the earth, is the support. And one who does prana upasana, meditates on prana as Brahma, attains a complete life, Purna Ayu. So this Pranamaya kosha, having a human this form, within this pranamaya kosha, subtler than the pranamaya kosha, Atma of this pranamaya kosha is the manomaya kosha. And what are the limbs of manomaya kosha? The Yajurved is the head, Rigved is the right arm, Samaved is the left arm, Adesha is the Atma, and Atharvangi Rasa is the Pucha Pratishtha. So Manomaya Kosha, which is made up of our mind, which is a thinking instrument. Constantly one thinks, sankalpa, vikalpa. So here the mind is equated with the Vedas. Vedas are the very storehouse of all knowledge. All that we know about this world and all that is indicated about that supreme reality is there in the Vedas. So Vedas reveal the Aparavidya as well as the Paravidya. So our thinking, if they are tuned to the Vedas, tuned to the proper Praman, Vedas are the Praman. Praman to know Dharma and Praman to know Brahma. So when our mind is tuned to the Vedas, our thinking is in tune with this Praman, with the values, with the karmas mentioned in the Vedas, then it helps the mind to become more and more pure. So Manomaya Kosh therefore is indicated as having its limbs as the Vedas. And the glory of this Manomaya Kosh, glory of the mind. Mind is very, very powerful. Mind is help us to think and then arrive at understanding. But mind has got its own limitation also. So in the following mantra, the limitation of this mind is indicated. कि यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह. That supreme Brahma, when one tries to contemplate and tries to understand that Brahma and tries to articulate that Brahma, then without describing that Brahma, without articulating that Brahma, and without touching that Brahma, both the speech and the mind returns back. It's like suppose you want to throw a stone, let us say on the moon, from this earth, you want to throw a stone on the moon. You see a beautiful moon in the sky. So with all your strength and all your power, you throw a stone up in the sky. So it goes very high, depending on your strength. But without reaching the moon, the stone comes back. In the same way, with our great capacity of our mind and the ability to express, we try to express and understand and talk about that Brahma, but without catching that Brahma, without comprehending that Brahma, the mind returns back along with the speech. Means that Brahma is so subtle that our mind is unable to think about it, unable to talk about it. Because we can speak about only those things which have some qualities, some form, or those things which have some activities, or which has some relationship. But Brahma is ekameva advitiyam. Brahma doesn't have a form, Brahma doesn't have a color, Brahma doesn't have any activities. So it is not possible for the mind to describe that Brahma. So mind returns back along with the speech. So yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasasaha. And what is that Brahma? Anandam Brahmano vidvan. That Brahma is of the nature of Ananda. More about this Ananda will be uh, will be described later on also. So Brahma is of the nature of Ananda. Though it is beyond the mind, with the help of a purified mind, with the help of a subtle buddhi, one can comprehend, one can know that Brahma. So Anandam Brahmano Vidvan. So one who knows that Brahma through proper path shown by the Shastra, when one comes to comprehend that Brahma. First we have to theoretically understand Brahma and thereafter meditate and gain abidance in that Brahma. So one who gains that abidance in that Brahma, what happens to such a enlightened person? Such a person becomes free of all fear. Na bibheti kadachaniti. Thereafter he doesn't have fear about anything. See, we have fear in life, fear of old age, fear of disease, fear of losing something, fear of losing our wealth, our position, our name, our fame, fear of losing our friends and relatives, fear of losing our property, fear of losing our youthfulness, our beauty, and all sorts of fears we have. And ultimately, we have fear of death. That however much we live in this world and take care of our health and follow all the disciplines, but ultimately the body drops off and one dies. So there is fear of death also. But when we come to comprehend Brahma, when we come to recognize Brahma, then we come to know that there is no death for me. I don't die. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणः न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. That I am unborn, there is no birth to me, there is no death to me. And even when the body gets destroyed, I don't get destroyed. When one comes to directly experience this, then the fear of death just goes away. Na bibheti kadachaniti. Such an enlightened person doesn't have fear of anything. Fear is there because of that losing only. We feel that we will lose something. But Brahma is everything. There is nothing which is outside Brahma. Brahma is Purna. So there is no fear. So na bibheti kadachaniti. Tassesha eva sharira atma ya purvasya. And this manomaya kosha is the sharira atma, is the atma of the previous kosha, that is pranamaya kosha. So it is present in this pranamaya kosha. It fills that pranamaya kosha. So when our mind is active, when our mind thinks, then accordingly the pranas also become active. See, with the help of our mind, we can control the pranamaya kosha. We do pranayam, we can regulate our breath by using the power of our mind. So mind is subtler than the pranas which are expressing in this body as the pancha pranas. So tasmat tasyeva eva sharir atma yap purvasya tasmat va etasmat manomayat anyantar atma vijnanamaya. Then subtler than this manomaya atma and present inside this manomaya atma is the Vijnanamaya Atma. Sava Esha Purusha Vida Eva, which is also of the form of a Purusha, of this same form is imagined of that Vijnanamaya Atma also. Otherwise, only the Sthula Sharir has a form. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya do not have a form. But to make us understand so that we can dive deeper, a form is imagined for these other koshas. So this Vijnanamaya kosha also is of the human form. So Sava Esha Purusha Vidha Eva Tasya Purusha Vidatam Anvayam Purusha Vidhaha. So that Vijnanamaya of this human form, which takes the form which is inside the Manomaya kosha. What are the limbs of this Vijnanamaya kosha? So very beautifully the Shastras, they say, the Vijnanamaya kosha has its head as Shraddha. Tasya Shraddheva Shiraha. Shraddha is the head of Vijnanamaya kosha. One has to imagine the Vijnanamaya kosha as having a human form, and its head is Shraddha. Head is the very important portion. So head is Shraddha, faith. Then Ritam Dakshina Pakshaha. Ritam is the right arm. Ritam is what is conveyed in the Shastras and which are in tune with our Kartavya. That which we have understood from the Shastras, the truth which is understood, the teachings which are understood from the Shastras is called Ritam. And when this is applied in our life, through our speech and through our actions, when we express this, what we have understood from the Shastras, that is called Satyam. So Ritam is the right arm and Satyam is the left arm. And Yoga is Atma. Yoga is the middle portion of this body of Vijnanamaya kosha. So Yoga is Yukti or Samadhan. satisfaction. Satisfaction or contentment is called yoga here. And Mahapucham Pratishtha. And that Mahat Tattva, which is the cause of Vijnana, which is cause of Buddhi, is the Pratishtha, is the Pucham Pratishtha, the tail and the support of this Vijnanamaya kosha. So it's very interesting. This kosha is revealed here. So let us think about it. See, when we use our mind, and the mind is in tune with the Shastras, and when we think in tune with the Shastras, then understanding happens. So through our buddhi, through our mana, when we think, then we come to understand. And when we come to understand, then when we have faith in our understanding, then we perform those actions. So when we study the Shastras and contemplate on the Shastras and understand what are our duties and what we should do, when that understanding becomes clear, and when we have faith in the Shastras, then we perform those actions. Therefore, Shraddha plays a very important role in Vijnanam, in understanding, in our buddhi. Without Shraddha, we won't be able to even gain knowledge. In Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. One who has Shraddha in the Guru, in the Shastra, in that Supreme Brahma, in one's own self, such a person is able to gain that knowledge through proper thinking. So Shraddha is very important. Shraddhate, Shraddha is the ability of that buddhi to comprehend and to hold that supreme truth. So Shraddha is very, very important. And when we understand the Shastras and have Shraddha, then we put forth effort, we perform the actions. So the Shastras, they guide us on the path of action. So through the mind, when we think, and when we gain that knowledge with proper faith, then we perform the action. Therefore, Vijnanamaya kosha, which motivates us into action, is very important. And the head of this Vijnanamaya kosha is Shraddha. See, this we can understand if we take the example of Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, when he came on the battlefield, he had come prepared to fight the war. He was very clear. There was no confusion in his mind before coming on the battlefield that I have to fight this war against adharma. But when he requested Bhagwan to place his chariot in between the two armies, and when Bhagwan placed the chariot in front of Bhishma, Pitamaha and Dronacharya, and when he looked at them, he became totally confused. He did not know what to do, whether to fight this war or not to fight, because those who were very worshipful to him, Bhishma Pitamaha, Dronacharya, was standing right in front of him. So he was thoroughly confused. And he surrendered to Bhagwan and said, please tell me what to do, because I don't have proper understanding of dharma. Dharma sammudha chetaha. I am confused regarding dharma. So please teach me what is the right thing to do. Then Bhagwan teaches him, he tells him first the nature of that Atma. And ultimately we have to realize that Atma. But in order to realize the Atma, we have to purify our mind also. And that can be done by fulfilling all our duties properly, dedicating all our actions to Ishvara. So ultimately we have to gain self-knowledge. But karma is the path, karma is the way. Though karma leads to bondage, karma is at a lower level, but still one has to perform karma. So when Bhagwan told this to Arjuna, he again got confused. He said that you are praising knowledge, but what you call motivating me to perform this karma of this fighting this war. Vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohayasi vane tadekam vada nishchitya yena shreyoham apnuyam. That you are as though confusing me with these contradictory statements. In one statement you say knowledge is superior than karma. And then you tell me that you perform karma. So he was confused. Therefore he asked Bhagwan, please tell me what is the right thing. And Bhagwan then explained to him the importance of karma, that recognize your duty properly and perform your duties, dedicating everything to that Ishvara. So Bhagwan taught him the Karma Yoga Bhavana. And it became very clear to Arjuna after listening to the entire Bhagavad Gita. And finally he told Bhagwan that all my confusion has disappeared. Nashto moha smitil labdha tvat prasadatmaya chuta karishye vachanam tava. I will do as you say. All my delusion has gone. I have understood what is the right thing to do. So when we have proper understanding of our duties through the Shastras, and when we have faith in the Shastras, then we perform those actions properly. Therefore, the Vijnanamaya kosha, which is very subtle and very important, the head of that Vijnanamaya kosha is Shraddha. If the Shraddha is not there, then it will be totally headless. So, tasya Shraddheva Shiraha. Shankaracharya ji write कि निश्चय विज्ञानवतो ही कर्तव्येषु अर्थेषु पूर्वं श्रद्धा उत्पद्यते. That when we have this nischayatmika buddhi, when a person has got this nischayatmika buddhi, the firm understanding and conviction of what is conveyed in the Shastras, then the first thing which arises is that Shraddha only. So when he has got that Shraddha, thereafter then the actions take place. Therefore, in Gita further also, Bhagavan says, he, uh, all, all beings are dependent on Shraddha. Shraddhamayo ayam purushaha. This person is Shraddhamaya. As per our Shraddha, we perform actions. If our Shraddha is Sattvic, we perform Sattvic action. If Rajasic, Rajasic action. If Tamasic, then Tamasic action. So through proper study of the Shastras, through proper sadhana, we have to make our Shraddha firm and Sattvic. Then our yatra will be good towards that Brahma. So sa sarva kartavyanam prathamya shira iva shiraha. So since the Shraddha is the first, the prominent among kartavya, in kartavya karma, to perform kartavya karma, Shraddha is very important. Therefore, Shraddha is indicated here as Shiraha, as the head. Then the other limbs of this Vijnanamaya is indicated. The right side or the right wing is Ritam, and the left wing is Satyam. See, they are like the two wings of the bird. A bird can also fly properly if both the wings are active and healthy. So, rhythm is what we understand from the Shastras. Because Shastras are the Praman, the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad, the Dharma Shastras, the Ramayana, Mahabharata, they are the Praman. They tell us what type of action we should perform. Because the Shastras have a holistic view of life. The Shastras not only know this life, but it knows the previous lives and the future life also. So it gives a holistic vision. See, for example, when we are driving in a new place, in a new city, we use the map, the Google Maps, which guides us through the intricate lanes of a new city. It also tells us which road, if I take, it will be better, which has got less traffic, which is quicker, and how long it will take to reach my destination. All these things the Google Map tells me, and how it is able to tell because it has got a wider vision. It knows everything. When I am driving, I know only the road in front of me, but the Google Map knows what will come ahead, even after a few kilometers. What is the condition of that road? What is the traffic situation? Everything it knows. Similarly, with our intellect and with our understanding, we only know a little bit of our life. But the Shastras knows the future, the past. It knows the entire world because Shastras are the expression of that Supreme Brahma only, who is Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman. So the Shastras are Sarvajna, Sarvashaktiman. Therefore, when we have proper understanding of our Kartavya Karma through the Shastras, it is that understanding is indicated here as the Ritam. And when we express that understanding through our speech and our action, then that is Satyam. So Ritam is the right arm and Satyam is the left arm of this Vijnanamaya kosha. And Yoga Atma. What is the meaning of yoga? Yoga is yukti, a technique. And yoga is also indicated here. Shankaracharya writes, yoga means samadhanam. Atmavato hi yuktasya samadhanavato angan iva shraddhadini yathartha pratipatti kshamani bhavanti. One who has that samadhan, that satisfaction, that contentment, that joy, and with that joy, accompanied with Ritam and Satyam and with Shraddha, such a person will be able to perform his actions properly. Therefore, it is indicated here as the Atma, as the middle portion of that Vijnanamaya kosha. See, our Shastras, they tell us that whatever actions we are performing with understanding, with that conviction, with Shraddha, those actions also should be performed with deep sense of satisfaction and contentment. Then our actions become efficient, our actions become supreme. That contentment, that samadhanam is indicated here as yoga, the middle portion of that Vijnanamaya kosha. So yoga atma. See, nowadays in the modern times, some people, some management experts and all, they say that we should have discontentment in our life. Then only we will progress. Then only we will move forward. But here the Shastra says no. Of course, with discontentment, you move forward and get more and more entangled in samsara. But if you want to become free of samsara, we should gain that contentment, and that should arise through our understanding. When we gain proper understanding of life, when we gain proper understanding of our kartavya, when we gain proper understanding of our goal, then there is a deep sense of satisfaction which arises in the antakarana. We know what we are doing is right. We know that we are walking the right path. And when that satisfaction, that contentment happen, then our buddhi will help us to even transcend the buddhi and gain abidance in that supreme Brahma. Again in Gita, Bhagavan says, कि प्रसन्न चेतसो याशु बुद्धि पर्यवतिष्ठति. When that prasannata is there in our antakarana, then that buddhi gains abidance in that supreme. So this prasannata, this samadhanam is indicated here as yoga, which is the atma, which is the middle portion of this body of Vijnanamaya kosha. So yoga atma. And Maha Pucham Pratishtha, and Maha is Pucham Pratishtha. Maha is the support, is the Pucha, is the tail or the support of this Vijnanamaya kosha. And what is this Maha? Maha is Mahat Tattva. See, Mahat Tattva is the Shakti of that Supreme Brahma. It is part of this, it's Apara Prakriti. So the Apara Prakriti has got 8 limbs: Avyakta, Mahatattva, Ahankar Tattva, and Pancha Tanmatras. These are the eightfold Apara Prakriti. And Para Prakriti is Prana. So this Prakriti, from this Prakriti only, the entire world comes into manifestation. So from Mahat Tattva, the Samashti Buddhi is born. And our Buddhi is part of this Samashti Buddhi only. Therefore, this Mahat Tattva, which is the cause of this Buddhi, is like the support of this Vijnanamaya kosha. Shankaracharya ji writes कि कारणम ही कार्याणाम प्रतिष्ठा. That karan, the cause itself, becomes the pratishtha, the support of the effect. He gives example. कि यथा वृक्ष विरुधाम पृथ्वी. Just like the plants and trees, they are supported by the earth. They come from the earth, they are supported by the earth and again merges back into earth. Similarly, our Vijnanamaya kosha, which is mainly the Buddhi, it has come from this Mahat Tattva. Therefore, that Mahat Tattva is indicated here as the Pratishtha, support. So this is the Vijnanamaya kosha. Though it is there within this body, within the pranas, within the mind, within the intellect, within the mind, its support is that Mahat Tattva. So thus this Vijnanamaya kosha is described here, and the following mantra reveals the glory of this Vijnana. Glory of Vijnana. Vijnana literally means knowledge. Vijnanamaya kosha is made up of buddhi. But this buddhi is described here having these various limbs as Shraddha, as Ritam, as Satyam, as Yoga, which is Samadhanam, and the Pratishtha is the Mahat Tattva. So very beautifully the Vijnanamaya kosha is described. This is how we have to understand this Vijnanamaya kosha. And once we study all the 5 koshas, then we will try to get the whole picture properly. So after describing this Vijnanamaya kosha, now the teacher, just like it has done for other koshas, it gives the glory, reveals the glory of this Vijnana. So let us chant Anuvaka number 5. Vijnanam yajñam tanute कर्माणि तनुते पिच विज्ञानं देवा सर्वे ब्रह्मज्येष्ठमुपासते विज्ञानं ब्रह्म चेद्वेद तस्माच्चेन्न प्रमाद्यते शरीरे पाप्मनो हित्वा सर्वान् कामान् समश्नुत इति तस्सेष एव शारीर आत्मा यः पूर्वस्य तस्माद् वा एतस्मात् विज्ञानमयात् अन्योन्तर आत्मानन्दमयः तेनैष पूर्णः स वा एष पुरुषविद एव tasya purusha vidatam अन्वयं पुरुषविदः तस्य प्रियमेव शिरः मोदो दक्षिणपक्षः प्रमोद उत्तरपक्षः आनन्द आत्मा ब्रह्मपुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. The greatness of this Vijnana, that buddhi, that understanding. What is the greatness of this Vijnana? He says, Vijnanam yajnam tanute. Through Vijnana only, all the yajnas are done, and yajnas, they expand. The yajnas are performed, the yajnas which are mentioned in the Shastras, means the karmas which are mentioned in the Shastras, which has to be done, dedicating it to Ishvara, all those karmas, they get their strength and they spread out because of Vijnana. Vijnanam yajnam tanute. So the Vijnana means the Vijnanavan, this person having this Vijnana, he performs actions, he performs this yajna and spreads that yajna, means it gains vistar, this yajna. Not only the yajna, but even other karmas, karmani tanute picha, even all other karmas also, they are performed through this Vijnanamaya kosha only. See this Vijnanamaya kosha, which is made up of our buddhi, decisions take place there. Nishchay. What is the nature of this buddhi? Buddhi is nishchayatmika. The mind is sankalpa vikalpatmika. In mind, thinking happens, pros and cons. We evaluate the situation, we think. But when we decide, that decisive nature of our antakarana is the buddhi, nishchayatmika buddhi. And only when that nishchay is done, then the action begins. So nishchay is very important. Decision is very important. Without decision, only thinking will not help. It will be like just putting forth effort without arriving anywhere. Just like sometimes we do the exercise on a treadmill, so we keep walking, but we don't reach anywhere. So there are some people who keep using their mind constantly, keep on thinking, thinking, thinking. But if we don't arrive at any understanding, and if we don't arrive at any nishchay, any conclusion, then that thinking is just a wastage of effort. And thinking can lead to proper understanding if that thinking is based on the Vedas, on the proper Praman. If our thinking is not based on the proper Praman, it will not lead to proper conclusion. It might lead to erroneous conclusions. See, in the world we see people who don't follow proper Praman in life. Then they reach some very strange conclusions, very strange understanding, and their whole life goes haywire. Therefore, proper nishchay is very important. And when we have that nischay, we perform actions, we perform yajnas, and we progress on that path. Not only human beings, but Vijnanam Deva Sarve Brahma Jeshtam Upasate. That even Devatas, they worship this Vijnana as Brahma, because Vijnana is even superior to the Devatas. Vijnana, which has got the Mahat Tattva, the Mahat Tattva is the first one to be born. When the Mahat Tattva is born as Samashti Buddhi, then Hiranyagarbha is born. So all the other Devatas, they worship that Hiranyagarbha or that Mahat Tattva as Brahma, because Mahat Tattva is superior to all these Devatas. So Vijnanam Deva Sarve Brahma Jeshtam Upasate. They worship this Vijnanam as Jeshta Brahma, as superior and as Brahma itself. Vijnanam Brahma Ched Veda Tasmat Chenna Pramadyati. And even as a human being, when we worship this Vijnana as Brahma, Vijnanam Brahma Ched Veda, we understand Vijnana as Brahma. Just like in the before also, the Annamaya kosha, there also the Annam should be worshipped as Brahma was indicated. Even prana should be worshipped as Brahma. Here, the upasana of Vijnana is indicated. The one who meditates on this Vijnana as Brahma. Vijnanam Brahma Ched Veda, one who knows that Vijnana is Brahma. That Mahat Tattva, Samadhan, Ritam, Satyam, Shraddha as Brahma, one who meditates, because all actions and all support of all action is this Vijnana. Therefore, Vijnana is like Brahma. And one who meditates on Vijnana as Brahma, Tasmat Chenna Pramadyati, without getting distracted, without getting diverted, without shifting one's attention somewhere else, means dropping our attention from the sthula sharir, from the pranas, from the mind. One should focus one's attention on this Vijnana Maya kosha and consider this Vijnana as Brahma and meditate on that Vijnana as Brahma. So if this is done, then what will happen? What is the phala? What is the result? The teacher says, कि शरीरे पापमनो हित्वा सर्वान कामान समश्नुत इति. Then whatever papa is there gets dropped. See, all papa is performed when we identify with our sthula sharir. Shankaracharya ji writes कि शरीर अभिमान निमित्ता ही सर्वे पापमानः तेषांच विज्ञानमये ब्रह्मणि आत्माभिमानात् निमित्ता पाये हानम उपपद्यते छत्रापाये इव छायापायः. That when we shift our attention from this sharira, when we drop our identification with the body, because all papa is because of our identification with the body. When that identification with the body is dropped and one focuses one's attention only on Vijnanamaya as Brahma, then all the papa gets dropped. All papa gets dropped. Just like we are holding an umbrella and we get the shade. When the umbrella is thrown away, then the shade also goes away. Similarly, when we are holding on to the sharira, sthula sharir, then papa also accompanies us. But when we throw away the identification with the body, then the papa also goes away. So one becomes free of all papa. And sarvan kaman samashnuta iti, and attains the fulfillment of all desires, gains that supreme joy, that supreme peace and contentment just by meditating on Vijnana. And when we say meditating on Vijnana, along with all the limbs, the head, the two arms, the middle portion, and the Pratishtha as Mahat Tattva, then we become free of all papa and we gain the fulfillment of all desires. This is a very beautiful thing which is conveyed here. So, the Vijnanamaya kosha and the greatness of Vijnana and the phala which we gain through upasana on Vijnana as Brahma is indicated. Thereafter, the teacher will describe the Anandamaya kosha, the subtlest kosha. The Anandamaya kosha will be described further, that we will see in our class on Wednesday. Till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana. Subscribe to my channel, like and share, and we shall meet again soon. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.